Hi everyone, Exiled Senpai here. Recently in my realm, we've been discussing expanding our giant auto sorter because of the new update that's coming out soon. And I settled on MaizumaGames' multi-item sorting system. My realm, however, is Bedrock, and this sorter, as is, didn't work at all for many reasons. After about a day of trying to make it work on and off again, I finally got it to a level that is satisfactory to me. I am going to show you how to make MaizumaGames' multi-item sorting system work in Bedrock. But first, let me preface this by saying I am somewhat of a redstone noob. I've only been playing Minecraft for maybe a little over a year, and maybe been doing redstone for, I don't know, 8 months or so. And so some of this stuff is not going to be optimized. It's not going to be compacted as well as you would think it is, just because I am just not experienced enough to do that. And I'm sure that a week or two after I post this, someone else is going to post a video that has improved upon my design, and I'm okay with that. So let's start with the first problem. First problem is that none of these item sorters worked. No matter what I did, the items would drain into their very first chest, or actually they wouldn't drain at all. They just go all the way to the back. But the fix is pretty simple. Uh, just make sure that you put blocks down here. Now, this may have been an oversight in the original video. I don't know. I didn't have an opportunity to test this out in Java, so there's that. Now we have to deal with the unloader. Now, I imagine that in Java, what happens is the cart comes in with the items. The comparator sees that the uh, hopper has items in it. This redstone torch then inverts, turns off. This block is no longer powering this rail, and the minecart then goes on its way. But it didn't work that way in Bedrock. What happened is it would take too long for the redstone track to turn off, and by the time there was an item in this hopper, it was already on its way. Filtering one item at a time is not ideal. Now, I did go and take a look at the categorizer fixes and improvements, and I did try this. I did try to make this little change here, and this didn't work either. What happened is I just ended up with every item from the minecart being drained, including the single stackable items. So we don't need any of this. We are going to replace it with something else entirely. You don't need this. We don't need any of this. We don't need this cauldron. We never needed this block to begin with. We don't even need this. We can make this smaller and give it more storage space. Not as necessary. And we can even add another row up here. MaizumaGames, I'm sorry. There we go. An extra row. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make a pretty standard non-stackable items sorter. And we're going to make it so that the non-stackable items go this way and the stackable items go this way. So I'm going to put a comparator out here. Right here will be our input chest, but, you know, instead of a chest, we'll have the hopper minecart. This is going to go here. That goes there. This goes here. So now what happens is this redstone torch powers this dust, which this repeater detects and puts into this block and then powers this hopper. Thus, this hopper is locked by default. When an item goes into this upper hopper, it will see what kind of item it is. If it is a 64 or 16 stackable item, it will send out a redstone pulse that is not strong enough to reach this torch. If it is a single stackable item, though, it will send out a signal strength of 3, reach this torch, invert this redstone dust, turn off this repeater, and unlock this hopper. Let's also reverse this here and make it so this thing can't run away on us. So, nope. Crouch, do that. Knock this out. Actually, just right here for a second, we're going to grab this. Knock that out. Put this here. And put this here. Now we're going to hijack this signal. We don't need this. We're going to hijack this signal here. So I'm going to put this here, knock this out, put this here, put this here. Now I said 3, right? So 1, 2, 3. If the comparator detects a non-stackable item, then it will output a signal strength of 3. So in addition to unlocking the hopper below it, what we're going to have it do is we're going to put a repeater here. I'll put this up here. Now, it will also release the minecart. So now we have a minecart with 2 open slots and 3 bottles in the last 3 slots. So we're going to have to fix that. The bottles are obviously going to go this way. We don't need this nonsense right here. We're going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this. We're getting rid of all of this. This is just in the way. This pulse extender and monostable did not work in Bedrock for me, so we're going to get rid of that. Oops. This didn't work. This didn't work for me at all. Getting rid of this. So, in Bedrock, the speed of the minecart matters a lot, and for some reason, this is what we're going to need to do for our to refill our minecart with 5 non-stackable items. And we're going to need to get rid of this, whatever is in these hoppers. We're going to get rid of that. I bet they're all in here now. Yep, all the stuff that was in those hoppers is now in here. I'm going to put some bottles in here, single stackable items. We're going to make sure that all of these are full to a certain extent. And I'm actually going to put this in like this. Now, not here because it's still picking up stuff from these, and the speed at which the cart needs to go in order to then drop off the first item through trial and error. This is where it needs to be. So let's put this back. And we're going to put a detector rail right here to make sure that the items in this dropper elevator put the single stackable items back into these hoppers right here. So I'm going to put a repeater right here. I'm going to put a block right here. And I'm going to put this right here. And another block right here. And there you have it. I'm sorry, everyone. I've made a mistake here. We're going to get rid of this real quick. And this as well. This actually goes here like this. Place. Thank you. There we go. And then, of course, that goes right there. My mistake. This, for me, was the trickiest part. Now we have to make it so that the minecart will have time to unload and will start on its own. If there's no items in the chest, it'll start on its own when you put items on the chest. Additionally, I need to make it so that it didn't take one item before it left. It took 64 items before it left. I needed to consider like all the possibilities in terms of how many items might need to go into the chest. And so I decided to put it on a clock rather than detecting any particular signal strength. We're going to get rid of this because we're going to make it so that there is a drop-off for items that it takes out of the... We also don't even need this detector rail. We don't need to detect whether or not an item... we don't need to detect whether or not a minecart has a stack of 64. We can take one out of the stack no matter what and then drop it back off right over here. So that's what we're going to do. We don't need these at all. In fact, our hopper elevator is going to be over here. Let's just fill that up. No one sees that. But I digress. Let's get back to what we were doing over here. So first what I wanted to do is I wanted to tell the system, send the minecart on its way if you detect something in this chest. So first of all, let's knock this out. Chest is going to go this way. Let's dig down a little bit. Let's put that there. I'm going to put a comparator right here. Pull out a sticky piston. I'm going to put a sticky piston right there. Put this here. There. And knock this out real quick. I'll put some dust. This is going to go right here. This is going to go right here. So now, as you can see, the rail is off. But as soon as this comparator detects even just one item from this chest, it will extend the sticky piston, which will move this redstone block, which will depower this sticky piston, which will move this redstone block, which will depower this repeater, which will then no longer invert this torch that we just put down. So then it will start powering this. So even if I just put one item in here, you can see that this rail is now powered. Now, I am fully aware that what this means is that there will always be one stack of items left in the hopper minecart that won't get sorted until you put more items into the sorting chest. And I'm okay with that. I could have built a standard unloader that detects all this, but honestly, I didn't know how to do it in this small amount of space that I had. I could do it, but I am not experienced enough to make it this compact, and I wasn't willing to make that sacrifice. Now we need to make it so that it turns off when the minecart comes in for new load. And to do that, we're going to hijack this exact same signal right over here. This is the clock that I decided to use. What happens is, in this chest, there are 10 items that are 64 stackable, and 9 that are 16 stackable. This is because they output different amounts of power when looked at by a comparator. And so when I flip this and flip it back on again, what happens is these items start to drain into this comparator. And once they all drain in, the single strength will be strong enough to push that back. And so we're going to build that. So let's put it in our clock. Let's put a piston right here. Make sure they're facing each other. I'll put in my items now. Put in 10 non-stackable items. That was 1 extra, I believe. Yeah, that was 1 extra. A mistake. And I'm going to put in 9 of an item that stacks in 16. This goes here. And then another one. Whoops. I'm sorry. Should be there like that. Now let's put our redstone block in. When it drains, there we have it. So you'll see if I put this here, it'll start draining. And again, there we go. So we're going to hook that up to here now. So repeater, repeater, dust, easy. Now we need a way to trigger this right here, and we're going to do that pretty simply actually. I'm going to add another torch right here, and so that you can see this, I'm going to use glass to show you what I'm about to do here. Put this here, then, and we don't actually need this at all. So now when the hopper goes over this detector rail, it will not only trigger this item elevator, it will also trigger this clock. And it will power off this rail just in time for it not to be sent off away immediately, and for long enough so that it can empty out an entire stack of 64. So that's all you need to do. Why don't we give this... Oh, well, that's not actually all we need to do. We still need to do this item elevator right here. So let's fix this and make it so that our items get dropped off on the way back. We're going to put a repeater right here, put a repeater right here, put a block right here, a torch right here. We're also going to put a block right here. This is going to go here, and this is going to, you'll see that I'll trigger a few times, and that is exactly what we want. I'm going to put a redstone dust right here into that. And again, it'll trigger a bunch of times, and that's what we want. This goes here. Put another inverted one right here. This goes right here. So you'll see when this gets powered, they'll all get triggered a bunch of times, and it'll shoot it all the way back up here. So there's our drop-off station. Now everything is done. We're ready to test this out. Put this here, put this here, put this here. You see now on. Give it a little nudge. See, it's loading. And this clock, yep, then releases it. It picked up the item. It's now draining into, what was it again? This one? Yeah, it's draining into this chest, as it should. And when it's empty, it'll go back and do that loop again. And there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments, suggestions for improvements, if you like the video, don't forget to follow, like, subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. And don't forget, you can always find me live at twitch.tv/exiledsenpai.